Everyone thinks nuclear war is a human decision. They're wrong. Sometimes it's a machine's. The Cold War simmered for decades, a constant, chilling whisper of potential annihilation. But what if the very act of a first strike, a decapitating blow meant to cripple an enemy, guaranteed your own destruction through a system you couldn't control? This was the chilling premise behind the Soviet Union's dead hand system. Officially known as Perimeter, this automated doomsday machine was designed to ensure an inescapable retaliatory strike, even if all Soviet leadership was wiped out. It was a failsafe, a final, terrifying no-matter-what button meant to deter any attack by guaranteeing absolute mutual destruction. The concept isn't entirely unique. The West had its own theories of mutually assured destruction, or MAD, but Dead Hand took MAD to its ultimate, terrifying conclusion, removing human agency from the final, catastrophic decision. The genesis of Dead Hand lay in the early 1980s, a period of heightened tension. President Reagan's Star Wars initiative, the Strategic Defense Initiative, deeply unnerved Moscow. They feared a first strike followed by an impenetrable shield, rendering their own arsenal useless. Soviet strategists believed a first strike would target command and control centers, severing the head from the body of their nuclear forces. Dead Hand was their answer, a nervous system that could function even without the brain. The system wasn't fully automated from the start. It required human activation. A small number of high-ranking Soviet officers, likely in deep, hardened bunkers, would initiate Perimeter if they believed a nuclear attack was underway and all communication with Central Command was lost. Once activated, Dead Hand would begin listening. It would monitor a network of sensors, seismic detectors for ground shocks, radiation sensors for nuclear fallout, and even pressure sensors looking for the telltale signs of Ike-bomb launches hitting Soviet soil. Perhaps the most crucial component was the communication network. Dead Hand utilized a low-frequency radio system capable of penetrating deep into the Earth and through electromagnetic pulse disruptions, ensuring its signals could reach even buried missile silos. But what if it was a false alarm, a meteorite strike, a technical glitch? The system had a safeguard, a timer. If activated, it would wait for a predetermined period, hours perhaps, before initiating the launch sequence. During this waiting period, human operators would still have a chance to abort. It was a cold comfort, a sliver of human control in a system designed to circumvent it. But if no abort signal came, and the sensors confirmed a strike, Dead Hand would proceed. The system's true genius, and its terror, lay in its command missiles. These weren't warheads aimed at enemy cities. Instead, they were specially designed rockets, launched from protected silos, that broadcast launch codes and targeting data to all remaining Soviet nuclear forces. Imagine, a nuclear attack has just devastated your nation. Your leaders are gone, your cities are burning. And then, a single missile arcs into the sky, carrying the final, irrevocable order to unleash a global conflagration, a final act of vengeance. These command missiles were designed to be incredibly resilient, able to punch through any anti-ballistic missile defenses. They were essentially flying, hardened radio transmitters, ensuring the message got through. The revelation of Dead Hand's existence came largely after the Cold War, particularly through the writings of former Soviet military officials and defectors. Its true capabilities and operational status were, and still are, shrouded in secrecy. One of the most prominent figures to speak about Perimeter was Vladimir Yarinish, a former Soviet colonel who worked on the system. He described it as a purely retaliatory measure, a deterrent to prevent the U.S. from ever contemplating a first strike. The ethical implications are staggering. A machine making the ultimate decision for humanity, the potential for a catastrophic error, a misinterpretation of data leading to the end of civilization. It raises questions that still haunt us today. Yet from the Soviet perspective, Dead Hand was a necessary evil. In a world teetering on the brink, with both superpowers developing increasingly sophisticated weaponry, it was seen as the ultimate guarantor of peace through terror. The system's existence also highlights the deep paranoia and mistrust that defined the Cold War. Both sides genuinely believed the other was capable of a first strike, and both invested immense resources into ensuring their own survival, or at least their enemy's destruction. Some argue that Dead Hand, by making retaliation absolutely certain, actually contributed to stability. It removed the temptation for a first strike, knowing that even a successful attack would unleash an unstoppable counterpunch. However, the very idea of a machine holding the keys to global annihilation remains deeply unsettling. What happens if the system itself is compromised, or if a truly unprecedented event triggers it erroneously? These are questions with no easy answers. Even after the collapse of the Soviet Union, there's a strong belief among experts that parts of Dead Hand or a similar successor system remain operational in Russia today. The logic of guaranteed retaliation, it seems, is hard to abandon. The story of Dead Hand isn't just a historical footnote. It's a stark reminder of the extreme lengths nations went to during the Cold War, creating machines that transcended human control, all in the name of deterring the unthinkable. It forces us to confront the dark mirror of our own ingenuity, capable of building systems of such immense power that they threaten our very existence. The Dead Hand system stands as a chilling monument to humanity's capacity for both self-preservation and self-destruction. Delve deeper into the covert world of Cold War strategy in our next video.